Dear learners, welcome to the MOOC on Early Childhood Care and Education. This is the first video lecture for the first module of this MOOC course. The title of the first module is Understanding Human Growth and Development. Here in this video presentation, we will be dealing with two important aspects of human life, that are growth and development. All of you have enrolled in this MOOC course with a view to understand about one of the most important stages of human life, that is the early childhood period. This course aims to cater all those information required to take proper care and teach the children falling in this specific stage. But to have clear understanding about this early childhood stage, you must be clear about the different stages of human life. Again, to understand and categorize the stages of human life, you must have proper knowledge about development, which is a key area of psychology. Development is an area which is accompanied by another key area of psychology, that is growth. So, after this video lecture, you will be able to understand about the concept of growth and development. You will be able to differentiate between growth and development, as well as you will be able to realize the mutual relationship between growth and development. So, let's start. We all know that human life starts from a single fertilized cell. This cell is under constant interaction with the environment in the mother's womb and after birth with the outside world. This interaction leads to the growth and development of the child. That means the process of growth and development starts from conception of a single cell in the mother's womb. The increasing of an organ or limb of a body in size and weight is called growth. Division of each cell and their growing into thousands in number or their changing tissues, blood or bone is part of the process of development. Concept of growth. To know about the concept of growth, you must be clear that the term growth is the quantitative aspect of changes that occur in one's life. The concept of growth refers to the measurable and observable increase in size, quantity, or capacity of an organism or entity over time. It is primarily a quantitative process focusing on the physical senses that occur in a person, in an organism, or in a system developed. It is purely physical that implies the senses related to our height, size, length, and weight, etc. It indicates the enlargement of cell, fibers, and muscles, elongation of the skeleton, and increase in the general volume of the body parts and body organ. Therefore, growth is the natural tendency with all organisms. In the study of human development, the concept of growth plays a fundamental role as it encompasses the physical senses that occur from conception to maturity. Growth is often viewed as the biological counterpart to development, which is a broader concept including physiological, emotional, cognitive, and social senses. One of the significant facts regarding growth is that it doesn't continue throughout life. It stops when only maturation is achieved by the particular individual. The pattern of growth is not uniform. It differs from child to child. In the next video lecture, we will discuss about the principle of development. There we will discuss about this pattern of development. And individual difference is a natural phenomenon. No two individuals are same. Even between twins, there are some differences. So in terms of growth also, individual differences can be seen. Each child grows in his or her unique way. It includes his or her functional changes. As such, it covers both maturation and learning. Growth brings about perceptible changes in one's structure and form. That is about growth. It refers to quantitative, measurable changes in an individual's body size, structure, and function. These changes are observable and can be tracked over time, such as increase in weight and organ size, as we have already mentioned. Now, what are the domains of growth? There are some domains of growth that are physical growth, skeletal growth, muscular growth, and neurological growth. The physical growth includes the increase in stature, body mass, and the size of the organ. Skeleton growth includes development of bones, which provide structure and support. Muscular growth includes the expansion and strengthening of muscle for physical activity. Then, neurological growth refers to the growth of the brain and nervous system critical for cognitive and motor skill development. So, from this discussion, we can realize that there is a close relationship between growth and development. There are some characteristics. If we discuss those characteristics, it will be helpful for you to know better about growth. So, growth is quantitative in nature. It refers to the increase caused by the biological process in which the organism becomes bigger in size and volume. Another characteristic of growth is that it follows a definite pattern. I have already mentioned that in the next video we will discuss about the principle, where we will discuss about how growth takes place and how it differs from cell to cell. Though the pattern of growth is uniform, it differs from child to child because of the individual differences. Growth doesn't always contribute to development. Growth does not continue throughout the life. It stops when maturity has been attained. Another characteristic of growth is that it is produced as a natural phenomenon, and these are subject of measurement. That means the growth we attain, it can be measured, it can be observable. They are observable in nature. Their growth is one of the part of development process. In strict sense, development in its quantitative aspect is termed as growth. The speed of growth is not same all the time. Different aspects of growth develop at different rate of speed. Another characteristic of growth is that it fluctuates. Now, what are the determinants of growth? Means what are the factors that affect growth? The first is genetic factor. It includes the genes, then which detect the potential for height, weight, and other physical characteristics. The second one is environmental factor, which is very important. Nutrition, healthcare, and the physical activity impact also the growth of the child. The third one is hormonal factor. Hormones like growth hormone, GH, thyroid hormone, and sex hormone regulate the growth factors and growth rates. Then another important factor of growth is socioeconomic status. Access to resources like food and healthcare directly affects the physical growth of the child. Therefore, it is very important to take care of all those factors of the child so that they can grow very effectively and naturally. So, after discussing the concept of growth, now it's important for you to know about development. The development in a study of human development refers to the qualitative senses that occur in an individual's physical, cognitive, emotional, and social abilities over time. Unlike growth, which focuses only on quantitative senses like increase in size or weight, development encompasses the progressive and holistic improvement of skills, capacities, and behavior in an individual or in a cell. Development is a continuous process of change and progression that begins at the time of conception and it continues throughout life. It involves two important things. One is maturation, which is biological unfolding of potential, and second one is learning, which means or which refers to the acquisition of skill and knowledge through experiences. As such, the term development means a progressive series of senses that occur as a result of maturation and learning or experiences. It refers to overall senses in an individual's growth in one of its parts. There are a lot of definitions, but we can discuss the definition given by E.B. Harlow. So, according to him, development means a progressive series of senses that occur in an orderly, predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experiences. This means that development does not consist merely of adding inches to one's head or improving one's ability. In contrast, it is the complex process of integrating many structures and functions resulting from maturation and learning. Here it is important to know that growth is an essential part of development. The goal of development science is to enable the individual to adapt to the environment in which they live. It means the adjustment. The wider concept of development indicates advancement, more unfoldment, a progressive sense, a sort of growing forward to a greater maturity. It is a process of qualitative transformation which brings about maturity and functional improvement. So, development is growing up characteristically. It is related to growth in as much as that it denotes more specifically the senses in the character and efficiency of the organ and the organ system. Now, what are the domains of development? Like growth, development has also some domains or areas. The first one is physical development. Physical development means senses in the body, brain, motor skill and sensory capacities. Another most important domain of development is cognitive development. It means growth in thinking, reasoning, problem solving, memory and language abilities. Then another one is emotional development. Emotional development domain means development of feelings, self-awareness and ability to manage our emotions. Then social development, which is very important, it refers to the interpersonal skills, relationships and understanding social norms and rules. Then another important domain of development is moral development. Growth in understanding what is right, what is wrong, values and ethical reasoning is important for development. So after discussing the concept of development and the domain, now it is easier for us to derive the characteristics of development. So if we have to discuss the characteristics of development, we can say it as a product of maturation and learning. It is a process of qualitative transformation. It follows a definite and predictable pattern. Development has some phases. Each phase of development has its own characteristics. In the upcoming video of this module, we will be dealing with those stages or phases of development. And development is aided by stimulation, which is very important to know. All individuals are different and as such, their development takes different courses. Development is a continuous process. It goes from womb to tomb. Development depends on two important factors that are heredity and environment. In fact, development is considered as the product of heredity and environment. Development has four basic elements. First is growth, second is maturation, third is experience, and fourth one is social transmission. It is a gradual process, so development takes time. Development follows a sequence. If we discuss the principle of development in the next video, it will be helpful for you to know how development follows a sequence. And early development is more critical than the later one. So, now it is important for us to discuss the most important area of this study, that is the relationship between growth and development. How these two aspects are interrelated along with how they differ from each other. There are so many differences between growth and development. So how they are different we can discuss in this way. The term growth is generally used in purely physical sense. It refers to the increase caused by biological process in the organism. But development indicates advancement, more unfoldment, a progressive sense in the organism. Again, chances in the quantitative aspect come into the domain of growth, whereas in the case of development, it indicates the senses in quality or character rather than quantitative aspect. Again, growth is a part of developmental process. Development is quantitative, sense is termed as growth, but development is comprehensive. It includes overall senses, not only the quantitative senses. Then, growth doesn't continue throughout life. It stops when maturity has been attained. But development is a continuous process. It goes from womb to tomb. It does not end with the attainment of maturity. The senses, however small they may be, continue throughout the lifespan of an individual. Again, the senses produced by growth are subject of measurement. They are quantitative. We can measure it in terms of weight, but development brings only qualitative senses, which are difficult to be measured directly. They are assessed through keen observation in the behavioral situation. Again, if we have to differentiate between these two, we can say that growth may or may not bring development. A child may grow in terms of weight by becoming fat, but this growth may not bring any functional improvement in terms of qualitative senses in the particular child. But development is also possible without growth, as we see in the case of some children that they do not gain in terms of height, weight, or size, but they do experience functional improvement or development in physical, social, emotional, or other aspect of development. Again, the pattern of growth is not uniform. It differs from child to child. But development follows a sequential pattern. Development is uniform in all the person. The rate may not be same, but it follows the same sequence. Then, growth is most rapid during the early years of development, but development is gradual process. Again, growth is observable in terms of quantitative sense in organism, whereas development is quantitative sense in organism which is not subject to direct observation. Last but not the least, growth is the progressive increase in size of child or part of the child. But development is progressive acquisition of various skills and functions. So these are the points through which we can differentiate between growth and development. Though we can find the differences between this growth and development, we cannot totally ignore their relationship. Both are interrelated as well as interdependent. Growth is one of the important part of development process. In a strict sense, development in its quantitative aspect is termed as growth. Growth support development. How? Physical growth such as brain development supports cognitive and motor skill advancement. For example, brain growth during infancy enables language and sensory development. Again, development shapes growth. Developmental milestones like improved coordination can influence growth-related activities such as physical exercise, which impact muscle and bone growth. Again, growth and development often occur simultaneously. For example, during childhood period, a child not only grows taller, that means he is not growing only, but also learns new skill like problem solving, talking, engaging in activities, which is development. Thus, after discussing so many things about growth and development and how they are related, we can summarize this video by saying that growth and development are two key concepts that are associated with psychological studies which primarily deal with behavior. The term growth is the quantitative aspect of chances. It is purely physical that implies the senses related to weight, size, length, and weight, etc. in the child. It is the integrated to understanding human development as it provides a measurable framework for assessing how individuals progress physically, setting the stage for their physiological, psychological, and social behavior. Whereas the concept of development in human studies emphasizes a holistic, comprehensive, lifelong progression of senses in various domains. It recognizes the dynamic interaction between genetic and environment, laying the groundwork for understanding human potential and fostering optimal growth and development. The term development means a progressive series of changes that occur as a result of two important things that are maturation and learning. Growth and development are used interchangeably, but there is a great differences. The term growth is generally used in purely physical sense. It refers to the increase caused by biological process in the organism, whereas development indicates advancement, more unfoldment, and a progressive change in organism. Hope you are able to understand the two basic concepts of growth and development and how they are interrelated and interdependent through this video. We'll meet you in the next video with rest part of the first module. Thank you very much.